Once upon a time, a long time ago, in the land of Chessboardia, which is totally a real place, and definitely not a place that I made up just for stories. Kelly, I have a secret. Don't tell anyone, but it's a place I made up for stories. Now, in this totally real place called Chessboardia, which wasn't made up for stories, there were two kingdoms. One where everyone always wore white clothes, and one where everyone always wore black clothes. Now, every single day, they always played a game of chess. And they went out to battle, and they were like, rah, rah, and they like captured pieces and then threw them in jail. But then at the end of the day, they let everybody go home from the jail because they wanted to do it all over the next day. So everybody went home, had a nice dinner, had a good night's of sleep, and then went back to capturing each other and throwing each other in jail the next day. It was a very silly place. Chessboardia is a very silly place. Now, after a especially silly day of very odd moves, like who would get in this sort of position? The board looked like this. And the white king said to the black king, I have you now. Checkmate. Now, I would like you to click the participants button and click yes if you think this is checkmate. The day is over, silly kings. And I would like you to click no if you think no, this is not checkmate. The day is not over. So looking at this position, wow, so many no votes. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 people are saying no. 16 people are saying no. This is crazy. Okay, I'm going to clear all of those. Can somebody raise their hand if they want to tell me why is this not checkmate? And I'm going to try to call on someone I have not called on yet. So I think I'm going to call on Garrett. Garrett, why is this not checkmate?
It's because the rooks are not pointing at the king.
Right, they are looking here and here. There's nowhere for the king to go. He's stuck in a corner, but he's actually not in danger. Very good answer. And so this king said to the other king, hey, I'm stuck, but I'm not in danger. And the king in white clothes down here said to himself, no, pawn. And the pawn said, yes, sir, Mr. King, sir, your honor, sir. He said, please jump forward 2 squares. And the pawn did. And now this bishop is looking at the king. And remember, these rooks are still looking like this. And this king said, I have you now. Checkmate. Is this checkmate? I would like you to click yes if you're like, yep, it's checkmate now, and click no if you're like, it's not checkmate, don't be ridiculous. So it's a more split vote this time. Some yeses, some no's. Very close to 50-50, 11 to 8, 10 to 8, 11 to 8. Okay, so I'm going to clear those. If you said no, it is not checkmate. Can you please raise your hand? And we will see why is this not checkmate. Wow, lots of people already. I'm going to say TD. Can you tell me why is this not checkmate?
It's not checkmate because there's one pawn that can block.
Yes, that is completely correct. Very good job. This pawn can be a superhero and say dun dun dun. Nope. Dun dun dun. Yes, don't touch my king. And now is the bishop looking at the king anymore? No, he's not in danger, so it wasn't checkmate. This pawn saves the day by doing B, block. And the king down here says to himself, ugh, okay, bishop, go capture that king and put him in checkmate for real this time. And so the bishop comes and captures this king, and this king says, I have you now, checkmate. Give me a yes vote if you think this is checkmate. Give me a no vote if you think this is not checkmate. Some yeses, some no's, a lot more no's than yeses though. Okay, if you think this is not checkmate, I'm going to clear all those. Can you raise your hand and tell me why is this not checkmate? Okay, I'm going to call on Jose. Why is this not checkmate?
Because the king can move to where the space where the pawn was because the bishop is blocking the rook.
That is right. The bishop is blocking his own team now. And even though he couldn't move before, he can move now. And he could run there, he could run there, he could run there, but we'll say the king runs there. That's what we said. And so, yeah, it was a checkmate. And now this king is like, oh, what is going on? This is ridiculous. Bishop, go checkmate the king. And the bishop says, yes, sir, moves right there. And the king says, I have you now. Checkmate. You know the drill. We've done this before. Vote yes if you think that this is checkmate. Vote no if you think that this is not checkmate. And we will see. Wow, a lot of votes coming in really fast, and a lot of no votes coming in really fast, too. Okay. Lots of no votes. We've had mostly no votes on all of these so far. If you said no, raise your hand to tell me why not. Wow, I got some hands going up even before I said it. Kiefer was first, so I'm going to unmute you. Kiefer, why is this not checkmate?
Because the bishop can capture the king.
The
king can capture the bishop.
Right, the king can just capture the bishop. And so it clearly was not checkmate. The ABCs are runaway, block, capture. And he's been doing all of these things. Now, at this point, this king became very sad. And he started crying. He said, it's impossible. This guy is just too good. We will never, ever be able to capture him. I resign. He started to fall over like this, because you tip your king to resign when you're playing chess. And the queen caught him and said, no, don't resign, you silly king. We can checkmate him in one turn. And the king said, no, it's impossible. He's too good. I resign. And he started to tip himself over. And the queen was like, no, don't do that. Look, just let me tell us what to do for one turn, and I can find a move to make checkmate for us. And the king said, it's impossible, but I'll give you one turn. And if you can't find checkmate in one turn, I'm going to resign. So, click the chat button and type to me, what one move would you make to checkmate this king in one turn? There's lots of moves that could set up checkmate in 2 turns or 3 turns, but this king is going to resign if we don't find checkmate in one turn. So, I see that hand, I will call on you, but I'm going to let other people have a chance to answer in chat as well. So, in chat, type the name of the piece that you want to move, and then the name of the square that you want to move to. So, you name squares by looking at the letter first and then the number. So, you would say knight h3 if you thought that this move was checkmate. That would be the wrong move, but that's how you would do it. Okay, got some good answers coming in here. Got some answers that aren't so good coming in too, but that's okay. We're learning, and I'm glad to see that. So, one answer that we got was rook right here. Now, this looks at the king. It takes away these squares. Can the king run away? No, because these are all dangerous squares. He's like, yikes, yikes, yikes. He can't run away here. Ow! He can't jump off the board. Whoa! No run away. Nobody can jump and dance on the tiny line between squares here, because that's not how chess works. But the problem with this move is the king could just capture the rook. It's not protected. So, because of that, we're not going to move that rook there. And the same problem here. Although the king can't capture it, he could run away here, or someone could just capture that rook. So, we're not going to move this rook. We're not going to move this rook either, because if we move, you get a runaway square. And if you get right next to him, you can capture him. So we're not actually going to move a rook. But an answer that a lot of people said, I'm just going to say it because there were so many people typing this in. Well, I would say probably 5 to 10 people. The queen goes right here and looks at the king. Now, can the king run away right now? No, because the rooks are taking away all his escape squares. Can someone jump in the way and block one of those squares by the queen? No, unless you have like a bishop with superpowers who can be like in one turn, or you have a knight that can be like 1, 2, 1, or something like that. You cannot jump onto one of those squares. And as far as I know, none of these pieces have superpowers. Yep, don't worry, we're going to get to the tournament. This is almost the end. And the last one is capture. We can't run away, we can't block. Can we capture this queen right now? No. Like, unless you have a knight with, like, serious superpowers who can be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. And that is not how a knight moves. You cannot capture this queen. So, if you cannot run away, you cannot block, and you cannot capture, it is checkmate. If the king is in danger, and this king is in danger, there's no runaway, there's no block, there's no capture. That is checkmate.